Hey, everybody, and welcome back to a very special episode of 100 Acres of Ink. I'm not going to bury the lead here. We have card reveals for you today.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and I'll put like timer and stuff for it in the description. So if you want to just skip ahead to the reveal, you can do that. It'll be a few minutes in. We're going to do our kind of normal shtick that we do here on the show, but the reveal is going to be the main topic today. I'm really excited. We have 3 cards to show people today.
Yeah, not
Uh,
1, not 2, not 4, just 3.
just 3. And I'm super appreciative to Ravensburger North America for the opportunity. Um, I I don't know, when I started making videos, like, I don't know, 7, 8 months ago, I had no thought in my mind that this would ever happen, that I'd get to reveal a card for Disney Lorcana. So, I'm super excited. Everybody's reveals have been super, super cool so far this season. Yeah, with that, let's jump into it. What have you been up to? I know it's kind of been a quiet week now that set championships have ended, but what have you been up to lately?
Mostly I'm still kind of on my break from competitive events. I'm still showing up to locals, playing out, hanging out with people. Since, the start of the week, it's been a lot of, at least theory crafting, if not outright playtesting for some of the new cards. I've definitely got a couple of fun, janky combo ideas. I'm also working on some more degenerate things. For those of you who have played Magic in the audience, the phrase "death and taxes" might mean something to you. And we'll just reveal that later whenever we end up playing. If I end up running into you at a store or at a local or at DLC, you'll see what's coming.
Sure. I know I've been like very anxious to get in the kitchen and cook. This is my favorite time of year, but the
Yeah.
cards aren't all in Dreamborn yet, and they're not in Jorkana, so it's like it's hard for me to print proxies and get to work on them. So I can't wait for the full set to be out and to really be able to cook. Ruby Steel looks super exciting this set. I'm
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. But Sapphire continues to just get a lot of really new tools. For me, set championships are over. My wife and I went to a few more set championships on the final weekend. I think the final count was I ended up with 4 scars and she ended up with 2. So we ended up with 6 total between the 2 of us. No playmats. I mean, had 2 top 4s over the course of the month, but couldn't get there, couldn't get to a finals. Um, and I know next set it's gonna get a little bit more harder since
Yeah.
it's only gonna be for the top prize. Uh, Overall,
Well,
I'm really proud of myself. I've come a long way, like Ursula, I got my first 2 top 8s and, really kind of, I don't know, scratch and clawed my way to those.
hey,
Uh
that's hella consistent, all those events, and you still top 4, consistently. That's amazing.
Yeah, 2 out of the 4 times I top forward, and 4 times top 8, and that's with playing some, like, pretty janky,
Yeah.
chef cookie decks, that are not necessarily super meta, relevant, so, um, yeah, I think a really good, set for me, and I'm really excited for set 7.
It's gonna be fun.
Let's jump into our headlines. Just a couple of brief ones today. I know most people have already seen all of this news, but I wanted to bring this up just because we had speculated on it a little bit and in some of our previous episodes about how dual ink cards would work. And I think what you and I expected, Chris, is
Mhm,
confirmed here,
mhm,
that they are locked to the 2-color ink combination.
mhm.
Um, it says finally, when you build your own deck, you're limited to having up to 2 different ink colors in it. So I think no surprise there for us, just based on reading the rules. Um, but we officially know how dual ink cards work, and we've seen a lot of them now this week.
Yeah, we've gotten, I think, basically every color combination in the game so far. I can't
I
think of
think
one
we
that I'm
definitely
missing.
have one for every color
Yeah.
combination. I think it's really exciting. Some of them are pretty seem pretty powerful, and I
Mhm,
think it's what some of these color combinations need to make themselves a little bit more
mhm.
meta relevant. I know Ink Geyser kind of started off as the kind of controversial one, um, but some of the Ruby Steel ones look pretty good. I think some of the Emerald Steel ones also look pretty good for kind of a
Yeah,
pirate archetype. So
yeah.
I'm really excited for how these are going to kind of push decks and really create new archetypes, hopefully, and really add some new kinds of decks to the game.
Oh, for sure. Have you seen the new Ruby Emerald Queen?
Yeah,
That not only is that art amazing,
art is
that
beautiful, this
yeah,
set,
that's
by
really good
the
art.
way.
Honestly, if I'm really hoping that gets an enchanted because that's gonna be so pretty. Uh,
Yeah.
but but yeah, no, that by itself, that's an entirely new kind of way to play sort of damage matters cards, right?
Mhm.
And not to mention you can kind of use it as a control piece to kind of keep your opponent off of more aggro threats, depending. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, a hyper aggro Amber Amethyst deck isn't gonna be able to play a lot of their cards anymore. They're just gonna be kinda dead in hand. So,
yeah,
yeah, there's definitely a lot of really interesting cards. I'm sure we're gonna get to them, I think probably in a week or so.
hmm
Once the entire set is out,
hmm
we'll probably try to sit down and do a set review and talk about some of our favorite ones.
hmm
The other headline is we've got some new franchises in the game. I'm pretty excited about the Aristocats. Thomas O'Malley, the Alley Cat, is coming to Lorcana. We've got the whole suite from Aristocrats, which I'm
hmm
really excited about. I know a lot of people love Bolt too, so Bolt is coming to the game, and definitely will probably see some play in Amber Steel. And then Lady Than Tramp kind of seems to be a little bit more aggro in its approach. A lot of Amber Emerald cards. The one drop Lady I think is pretty interesting. If you
hmm
play the Tramp on turn 2, only costs 1 ink. So lots of really interesting things coming to the game this set.
Oh yeah, no, that's all just super exciting. I'm actually a really big fan of kind of the Lady and the Tramp um, franchise cards. Some of them look really interesting. I can definitely see a couple of interesting ways to play a sort of aggro deck like that. I'm definitely a fan of the fact that the deck's kind of all small bodies, so it seems like a really fun way to play copies of Chernobog if you have them sitting
Mhm.
around, which would be really fun. But you know, who knows where, who and what and where these different archetypes are going to go? It's going to be fun.
Yeah. All right. I know we have exciting news to get to, so we're just going to move right through and move to our judge segment. Our judge segment today is going to cover one of the new cards, actually, and look at the way the card is phrased and how a bunch of other cards are kind of phrased.
Mhm.
And specifically, we're looking at Kronk. Talk to me about Kronk.
Sure. So this is Crunk laid back. Um, so here's the translation because this is in Italian. So translation, this card has Ward. It is a 5 cost, 4 strength, 4 willpower to lore character that can only be played in purple and emerald. So amethyst emerald card. And the translation of the effect is if an effect would cause you to discard one or more cards you don't discard. Now this is very particular in that it says an effect. And this is kind of why this matters, as you can see with the different examples that we have on the screen. Like an example of an effect that this would affect would be strike a good match, which reads, draw a card, then choose and discard a card. That's part of the effect of the card. It's not like a cost to play it. It doesn't require you to discard the card to activate it. So in this case, strike a good match essentially just becomes draw 2 cards for, essentially free if you sing it, or, draw 2 cards, not too bad. But then, something like Diablo, which has a shift cost of discard an action, because that is a cost, you still have to pay it. You would still discard your action and then shift your Diablo. That doesn't stop you from doing that because that's not an effect, right? It's not something like making you discard. You have to do that in order to play the card. Um, but then, of course, you've got something like Lose the Way. Exert chosen character, then you may choose and discard a card. If you do, then the exerted character can't ready at the start of your next turn. So this is an effect that is a do this thing, then if you did do this thing. So if you don't discard the card, you won't get the ability to freeze that character in place, meaning that, they'll get a chance to ready at the start of the next turn because you didn't pay that additional cost. Um, and then here with Madame M, again, that's also a cost in order to activate that ability. It is pay to choose and discard a card, and then after paying those costs, you get the ability to gain a lore. So Crunk also doesn't affect that. Crunk is very specific in that it only targets effects like Sudden Chill, Hypnotize, Honey Lemon, things where their effects cause you to discard a card, they're not discarding the card is not part of paying the cost to do whatever the effect is.
And why we have to kind of have this conversation, we didn't have to have this conversation with regards to Magica Dispel, is because Magica Dispel is on your opponent's turns. And Kronk is now at any point. If there's an effect, don't discard. It's definitely going to make some cards like Lose the Way worse because you're not going to be able to discard a card to do the second part of the ability. But strike a good match just becomes draw two, which seems pretty good.
Yeah.
And seems like there might be some fun ways to try to break this card. I know even in this set, there are some new Emerald cards that say draw a card and discard a card, and so those combined, like the Yzma, I believe there's an
Mhm.
Emerald Yzma that has that effect, and so playing that card with this card on board, those cards just become draw a card. And so it really interesting to see how that synergy kind of will function or not function this set. We'll see if it's good enough to see play, but um, uh, it's really important to kind of read and be clear on what is a cost and what is not, what is an
Mhm.
effect, what is not. And one kind of key that you can look for in some of these cards is if there's a like something and then a dash and then something, the stuff before the dash is the cost to do the thing. The stuff after the dash is the effect of doing the thing.
Mhm.
So with Mim, the 2 ink choose and discard is the cost, and then it's gain 1 lore as the effect. You can't, if you have Kronk down, just pay 2 ink over and over and over again and gain lore. As fun as that would
That
be.
would be so good.
All right, that is our judge segment for today.
Mhm.
And without any further ado, we're just going to get into it. We're going to get into our reveal. Before we do, we're going to bring in a guest. So, joining us tonight is Sierra. And Sierra, tell us a little bit about yourself and about the content that you kind of create and participate in the Disney Lorcana community.
Well, hello, I'm Sierra. I'm on Instagram at LoreIlluminary, and I kind of just create silly, fun stuff in regards to either the cards just being cute and fun or within gameplay. And it's more of on the line of I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time, and please don't like murder me during, during play, right? So it's all more just for fun and hopefully more people who are, new to TCG, find it humorous and don't feel as much pressure um to join.
I mean, I think that's great, right? We
Mhm.
are playing a Mickey Mouse card game at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And so really it should be about the fun. I think you're really going to like our reveals today, and I'm excited to kind of get your take on it. I know you revealed a card earlier this set, and I think the card that you revealed maybe has some synergy with one of the cards that we're about to reveal. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The first card that we are revealing is Dolores Madrigal within earshot. Dolores is a one drop, uh, 1/2, so one strength, two willpower. She quests for one. She has the ability I Hear You. Whenever one of your characters sings a song, chosen opponent reveals their hand. So we know hand intelligence cards tend to be pretty playable.
Mhm.
Diablo obviously sees play. We have all kinds of other cards that you get to look at your opponent's hand and then discard something. So Dolores kind of falls into that vein a little bit. The flavor text here, she heard Mariano's heart skip a beat. Was it because of the puzzle or was he looking at her? So I don't know what the puzzle is. I haven't read too much of the flavor text on some of the other cards, but uh, seems like something is going on. I know I've seen in some of the other cards there's a library
Mhm.
on Arcasia's island, and maybe that kind of looks like where she is right now is in this library. We've got some books off to this side. This card was designed by or illustrated by Samantha Erdini. What's your first kind of take on this card?
Honestly, I really like this. I'm somebody who plays Little Diablo all the time. A card that gets you information about kind of what the plays your opponents are going to do next is always super useful. The fact that you can trigger this multiple times, right? It's anytime one of your characters sings a song. So this opens up the possibility of like an Emerald Amethyst. It can be a discard deck if you're playing, any of the discard songs, but it's also like you can just play it for value, right? Play Diablo and sing Friends on the Other Side, draw 2 cards, and you get to see what's in your opponent's hand so you can see if they've got an answer for you. I really like it. I think it's really cool. Also, I'm just a real big fan of Encanto.
I love that we're getting more Encanto cards this set. Encanto is one of my favorite Disney properties, so that's super exciting. Let's take a look at some of the other cards that this artist has done. There's quite a few. So Samantha has done the Tiana, a Mirabelle, a Snow White, a Lady Tremaine, Gadget, Aurora, going all the way back to the first set. Beast Mirror, Mariana Guzman, which is a card that has been revealed for this set, Part of Your World, Luisa Madrigal, Peppa Madrigal, and another Luisa. So definitely has some experience doing madrigals here.
Mhm.
Um, uh, but uh, none of these cards are like super played in competitive play. So it'll be interesting to see if this one starts to make it. Talking about a little bit of potential synergies for this card, you kind of brought up uh, the Emerald Amethyst archetype, and I think it could go pretty well there, right?
Mhm.
You play Dolores, then you play Ursula, you look at your opponent's hand, and then the following turn, you can sing Sudden Chill with your Ursula, take another look at their hand. Of course, there's Ursula Double Singer, there's
Mhm.
Mother Knows Best. It's pretty powerful, right? Like bouncing stuff back to their hand and just always knowing what's in your opponent's hand. I think the other potential combination for it is in Amber.
Mhm.
So you've got the one drop Cinderella. Obviously, you've got lots of good one drops. So the one drop, double one drop opening with a Dolores
Mhm.
seems pretty good. You can play it on two. You can sing Friends. You can sing Be Our Guest with the Cinderella that you played on turn one.
Mhm.
You can sing So Much to Give, which is the card that Sierra got to reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see different cards that, can work with the card that you get to reveal. It's really cool.
So that's the first card.
Mhm.
Um, let's move on to our second card, Peppa Madrigal. So this is Peppa, a sensitive sister. She's a 2/4 with a effect that we've seen before, or a similar effect that we've seen before. Clear skies, clear skies. Whenever one or more of your characters sings a song, gain one lore. I think this is reminiscent of Alan Adale. The difference is that Alan is whenever you play, not whenever
Mhm.
you sing.
Mhm.
So you can just play it from hand and gain the lore. This you have to exert a character to sing the song. She quests for one. She's a 3 drop. Her stat line is a little different from Alan Adale too, and we can show that here in a minute. But the flavor text is Archazia's calming presence helped Peppa dispel her dark mood. And this is by Valentina, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce the last name. I apologize. Uh, but she's also designed a few other cards that we'll show here in a minute. What's your first take on Peppa?
You're asking me? Or
Yeah, Sierra, go
Either
for it.
one of you,
Yeah.
I mean,
jump in.
obviously, the card is gorgeous. I mean, just like as soon as you reveal it, it's so pretty. And I always like to see the cards that where you can just gain one more, just because I'm not a super savvy player with the
Mm.
the multi-step,
Mhm.
triggers and different things. And so anytime you can just kind of sneak in a little couple extra points, I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful card.
I mean, the point of the game is to get to 20 lore, right? So anything you can do that will gain you an extra lore seems pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's also relevant that she's a 3 drop. So
Mhm.
by herself, she can sing things like Friends on the Other Side.
Mhm.
There are a lot of good three cost songs that she can sing herself and
Mhm.
gain a lore and do something.
Yeah, she's definitely super useful. I can definitely see her in a deck, maybe alongside Ariel, Spectacular Singer, because then now Ariel searches for a song, and then you get a Peppa trigger, and then, it's just synergy all the way down. Gain all the lore off of just, I'm going to sing songs, which is great. It's a Disney game. Sing all the songs.
I think the one thing with Ariel is she kind of conflicts with Peppa because they're both a 3 drop.
Mhm.
Like if Peppa was a 2 drop and then you play Ariel or
Yeah, or
um
was a 4 drop. Yeah.
I mean Alan is a 4 drop. We'll get to that here in a second. Let's take a look at the other cards that Valentina has designed. We've got Wake Up Alice, which is from this set. Training Dummy Merlin Crab, which is obviously a card that sees a lot of play. Wildcat, Dr. Delbert Doppler from set 6, and a Pirate's Life, which has obviously seen a lot of play in the last set or two.
Yeah, I really love this art style. Like it's pretty and it's expressive, especially on Peppa. You can definitely kind of see like the, not to be an art nerd for a second, but like the kind of gradients in the storm clouds in the background where
Mm.
the sun's kind of shining on her arm is super pretty, and like that kind of swirl effect is just really nice.
Yeah, I love the background in that. Speaking of synergies, right? We were talking about 3 cost songs that she can sing. I know the hyper aggro kind of style has been playing Boss on a Roll, Friends on the Other Side. There's also Let the Storm Rage On and Strength of a Raging Fire if you're going to play her in more of a steel song shell. There's also a brand new song that's a 2 cost song. So I think what's relevant about that is you can play something on 2 and then you can play Peppa on turn 3 and exert your 2 cost play to sing This Is My Family, draw a card, gain a lore, and then gain an additional lore for Peppa.
Mhm.
So that also seems pretty strong. Obviously, Cinderella, I think, synergizes pretty well with this. Alan Adale is that 4 drop that we were talking about, which is a 2/3 quest for 2 versus Peppa just questing for 1. Few other cards down here in the corner that might synergize with this: flutes. So if you play Alan, Peppa, and flutes, you've now got 3 ways to gain lore every time you play a song, which seems pretty gross to me. Um, that's a lot of
Uh,
lore.
Shout out to our friend John, who is probably going to play 12 flutes at some point,
Yeah.
or nine. No, yeah, 12 flutes. There's four of them. 12 flutes.
Be Our Guest is also a card that could synergize well with this since, you're essentially drawing a card. You can sing it with your 2 drop, gain a lore with Peppa. And again, the card Sierra that you revealed, So Much to Give, another 2 drop Amber song that I think just slots in very well with Peppa.
Yeah, it's really cool to see all of the different cards that within one turn she could kind of get some things going and kind of take the game away a little bit.
Hmm.
All right. It's time for our last card. And this one is really exciting, I think. Um, and it very synergizes with this with these other 2 cards. One thing that was really fun for me this week was there was a card that was revealed and everyone was like, oh, this card's interesting, but like what is this card really going to be doing? What is this card really going to be singing? And now we have the answer for that.
Hey,
um,
Tegan, what 5 cost songs are there?
there was a Mirabelle Madrigal card that was revealed this last week, and there was kind of a question: what does that card sing? Like, what cards that are Amber Amethyst can Mirabelle sing at 5? And the answer was like, not really a lot. But now we have what appears to be a pretty good song for Mirabelle to sing. This is a 5 cost song, the Family Madrigal. It's an action, a song. A character with 5 cost or more can exert to sing this cost for free. You get to look at 5 cards from your deck. You may reveal up to 1 madrigal character uh, and 1 song card and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. So it's an aerial effect and Be Our Guest slash like Tinkerbell card, the like that you could play and get a character. It's both of those in one. Um, and it's essentially a +2 to be able to sing this and put those in their hand if you hit on both of them, right?
I will also point out it's kind of a bosses on the roll because you get to stack the rest of the cards in any order on the top of your deck.
Yep. So it's a look at 5, like scry 5, put 2 into your hand, put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. And if you have Peppa out, you get to gain a lore.
I don't know,
Um,
seems good.
yeah, seems pretty good to me. I also just think again, this card is really beautiful. This card is illustrated by Juan Diego Leon. We've got the door opening in Casita. We've got these kind of magical swirls coming out from the door, kind of illuminating her. It's just gorgeous. Like it's just a gorgeous card. I hope we get an enchanted of this card because it would go really hard, I think.
Yeah, Sierra, what do you think?
These are the type of cards that I look forward to using soon with the the different types of I guess gameplay and
Mhm,
just the layers of the cards are always so interesting to me. And just like you said, being able to choose what you want and put it back and in
mhm.
the order that you want it in is pretty cool. And I agree. Encanto is one of my favorites, and I think that the movie is already so magical, and that and an Enchanted would be gorgeous. Definitely.
Let's take a look at the other cards that this artist has designed. So, Queen Sensor Core, Pinocchio, Turbo, Mickey Mouse going all the way back to first chapter, Launch, King Sensor Core, Hakuna Matata, a Bruno, a Luisa, the Yokai from last set, Thaddeus, Clang, Grand Pobby, and a Kakamora. So, um, yeah, this is an art style that I think has resonated with a lot of people as well. I think the yokai looks really cool too. So interesting to see another card from this artist. If we're going to talk about synergies, I think we have to start with these two. So when we're talking about Singer 5, we're looking at Ariel, right? Being able to play a card, being able to go look, find a song, and be able to sing it next turn. Ariel's been a long time competitive staple,
Mhm,
and her being able to sing the family madrigal seems pretty good.
mhm.
Also, the Mirabelle, as I mentioned, that was spoiled. This is one of the arts that's on the box this set. And she's an evasive 1/3 with Singer 5. My family's amazing, and I'm in my family. So being able to sing the family madrigal with Mirabelle, just from a flavor perspective, is really great.
Mhm, mhm.
And, unless they brawl Mirabelle, she's going to be on board for a while. And so you could potentially chain this multiple times and sing a number of cards with her, and sing this song many times.
I'm just here for the moment somebody manages to go, like, Family Madrigal into Peppa, into, like, look at this family, and to keep looking for all of your things that give you lore and just keep going.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be that turn where your opponent goes, "Oh, what happened?"
Yeah, you had nothing. How did this what?
Um, I think a few other synergies that kind of stood out to me. We have other Singer 5s, so
Mhm,
Gazelle and Gaston. Gaston being a 3/3, I think, is relevant, since it dodges Brawl and a few other strength based removal. Naveen is also interesting. Naveen could sing this on play, and go grab another song and go grab a character and put it in your hand.
mhm,
That seems pretty good. And then a Golden Harp. This was a card that saw a little bit of play, I think, at the end of set 4 in Steel Song. But the thing about Golden Harp is you have to keep having songs to play. And so once you play the aerial, you're kind of out of songs after you sing that song. But now the Family Madrigal can allow you to go find another song to sing with the Golden Harp, and it kind of leads into this potential aggro like song deck potentially that Mirabelle can kind of build around, and cards like this, like the Family Madrigal, are only going to get better the more good madrigals we have that come out. And who knows, maybe we'll even have some more of them revealed here before the end of reveal season for this set.
Yeah, there's a new Isabella, I think, that got revealed either earlier today or yesterday, that whenever you sing, like whenever one of your characters sings a song, they can't be challenged until like the start of your next turn. That's gonna be really good. It's also a Madrigal character. Just
Yep,
gotta
the
point that out.
Isabella. I
Yeah,
think it's an uninkable, like 5 cost quest for 3. I think it protects her. Quest for 4.
quest for 4.
Um,
No, and it's whenever one of your characters sings a song, that character can't be challenged until the start of your next turn.
there's been some question on the translation, and I
That's
think
fair.
it's been clarified that it's this character cannot be challenged.
Oh, still,
Um,
3 cost, or, 5 cost, 4 quest doesn't seem too bad.
yeah. Digging a little bit deeper here, if we're looking at what are the madrigals currently in the game that we could grab, I think probably your highest value ones here are going to be things like Dolores that you can play to draw a card and immediately replace itself, especially if you know what your top card is. You
Mhm,
can grab a Dolores, you can play that Dolores, and then draw another card of those three that you know what it is.
mhm.
That seems pretty powerful. Isabella is obviously a pretty powerful card, questing for 4. Alma being able to look for other cards, even just finding another Mirabelle to play, another 3 cost Mirabelle to play another singer down, seems pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, I think this is all of them so far, at least the ones that were in Dreamborn as of today. If we're taking a look at songs that we could be grabbing, this is the list of songs that we could be grabbing. Obviously, things like Bare Necessities, I Won't Give In, um, Be Our Guest, the new one, This Is My Family. And then, of course, things like Boss on a Roll or Friends on the Other Side at the 3 cost mark. But it could go even up to Look at This Family, right?
mhm.
Um, you know what, adds up to 10, to sing Second Star to the Right?
I'm gonna go with, uh, Mirabelle and an Ariel.
Yeah, right? Drawing 5 cards sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just imagining the horrors that your wife will inflict on us later.
My wife does play, Amber Amethyst, aggro, so I think some of these cards might be up her alley. I went, and put together a quick deck list here, of at least starting out what could be a direction you could go with this. I wanted to try to fit all 3 cards into, one deck. So, we've got the Daisy, the Cinderella, the Dolores as our 1 drops. We've got a Lilo on turn 2. We've got the Mirabelle, the Peppa, and Ariel on turn 3. A Dolores on turn 4, as well as the Rush Louisa to try to help control the board a little bit. And then at the top end, the Mirabelle Madrigal that when she quests, all of your other Madrigal characters get +1. This is a card that hasn't seen a lot of play, but this deck has a lot of Madrigals in it.
Mhm.
And so questing for +1 is pretty good, to get you over that final hump. In terms of songs, I think if we play 4 copies of each of these, at least as a starting place, 4 times 5 is 20. So that's more than enough for a decent hit rate with Ariel, or with the Family Madrigal. Um, so we should be hitting on a song fairly often here. And all of these songs essentially cantrip.
Yeah.
Every one of these cards just puts more cards in your hand, right? This Is My Family just draws you a card. Be Our Guest finds a specific character. Friends on the Other Side draws you 2. The Family Madrigal pluses you 2. Look at This Family pluses you 2. So, as a kind of aggro songs shell, I think this is a decent first starting place. At least I haven't play tested this at all, but I think from a theory standpoint, this seems like a pretty decent starting place for these 3 cards that seem to synergize pretty well together.
Yeah. Um, I could definitely yeah, honestly, all this looks really good. I My one thought is the card that you revealed earlier, Sierra, because it's also a song, and also just the mental image of I'm gonna give my Lilo bodyguard, and then, "Oh, no, you sent it away, I guess I'm just gonna play it again next turn."
Yeah.
Sadness.
Yeah, like, maybe that's the card in here instead of "Be Our Guest" because it
Yeah.
also cantrips, it also replaces itself. I mean, but
Yeah.
even just, like, giving your Daisy Duck bodyguard
Oh,
is,
yeah.
like, pretty good, right? "Oh, you have to run through this 1/4 before you can come for my other characters."
Yeah. Seems good. Seems fine.
I've done that a little bit. I was playing, like, an Amber Steel, aggro deck and was giving, or no, I think it was in Blue Steel, and I was playing Fortisphere for a little bit, and I was giving Calhoun bodyguard, and it was like,
Mhm.
"Well, you gotta come through Calhoun."
Good luck.
Yeah, so this was kinda where my mind went. I'm really excited about, set 7 and what else we have in store. I think we're just gonna call it here as a pretty short episode, but if you wanna learn more about Disney Lorcana or about any of the cards released or previewed here this set, go check out www.disneylorcana.com. There's lots of more information on the website about the upcoming set, about dual ink cards, about the new franchises that are coming to Disney Lorcana. I want to once again say thank you to Disney Lorcana and Ravensburger for reaching out and letting me reveal some cards. This was seriously so cool. It was like so hard to sit on my hands though this week when
Mhm.
people were
Mhm.
talking about
Mhm.
Mirabelle because I knew this was coming. Um, it's just been a real pleasure and a real dream. Thanks for joining us, Sierra, and taking a look at these cards with us.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Hey, Sierra, just in case, where can people find you if they wanna see more of your stuff?
Sure, pretty much just on Instagram at LoreIlluminary.
Cool. Great. And you can always find us here. We'll be here making more content and having some fun interactions, keeping you updated on the news and all sorts of other crazy stuff.
Yeah, please leave a comment in the comment section about what you think about these cards, about what you're interested in exploring or building with them. I would love to hear it. I'd love to hear what you're cooking up in the kitchen. So feel free to jump into the comment section down below. Thanks for joining, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye bye.